My eyes rested on a beat-up blue car. The hood was badly dented, like somebody had tried to hammer out some huge craters. My skin tingled. Why did that car look so familiar? Then I realized it was a Prius. Paul's Prius. I bolted down the street. "Percy!" Annabeth called. "Where are you going?" Paul was passed out in the driver's seat. My mom was snoring beside him. My mind felt like mush. How had I not seen them before? They'd been sitting here in traffic for over a day, the battle raging all around them, and I hadn't even noticed. They must have seen those blue lights in the sky. I rattled the doors, but they were locked. I need to get them out. "Percy," Annabeth said gently, "I can't leave them here." I sounded a little crazy. I pounded on the windshield. "I have to move them. I have to." "Percy, just hold on." Annabeth waved Chiron, who was talking to some centaurs down the block. "We can push the car down the side street, all right? They're going to be fine." My hands trembled. After all I'd been through over the last few days, I felt so stupid and weak. But the sight of my parents made me want to break down. Chiron galloped over. "What's—" "Oh dear, I see." "They were coming to find me," I said. "My mom must have sensed something was wrong." "Most likely," Chiron said. "But, Percy, they'll be fine. The best we can do for them is stay focused on our job." Then I noticed something in the back seat of the Prius, and my heart skipped a beat. Seatbelted behind my mother was a black and white Greek jar about 3 feet tall. Its lid was wrapped in a leather harness. "No way," I muttered. Annabeth pressed her hand to the window. "That's impossible! I thought you left it in the plaza." "Locked in a vault," I agreed. Chiron saw the jar and his eyes widened. "That isn't—" "Pandora's jar," I told him. And then I told him about my meeting with Prometheus. "The jar is yours," Chiron said grimly. "It will follow you and tempt you to open it no matter where you leave it. It will appear when you are the weakest." Like now, I thought, looking at my helpless parents. I imagined Prometheus smiling, so anxious to help out us poor mortals. "Give up hope, and I will know that you are surrendering. I promise Cronus will be lenient." Anger surged through me. I drew Riptide and cut through the driver's side window like it was made of plastic wrap. "We'll put the car in neutral," I said. "Push them out of the way, and take that stupid jar to Olympus." Chiron nodded. "A good plan, but Percy—" Whatever he was going to say, he faltered. A mechanical drumbeat grew loud in the distance, the chop-chop-chop of a helicopter. On a normal Monday morning in New York, this would have been no big deal. But after 2 days of silence, a mortal helicopter was the oddest thing that I'd ever heard. A few blocks east, the monster army shouted and jeered as the helicopter came into view. It was a civilian model, painted dark red, with bright green DE logo on the side. The words under the logo were too small to read, but I knew what they said. Dare Enterprises. My throat closed up. I looked at Annabeth and could tell that she recognized the logo too. Her face was as red as the helicopter. "What's she doing here?" Annabeth demanded. "How did she get through the barrier?" "Who?" Chiron looked confused. "What mortal would be insane enough—" Suddenly the helicopter pitched forward. "The Morpheus enchantment," Chiron said. "The foolish mortal pilot is asleep." I watched in horror as the helicopter careened sideways, falling towards a row of office buildings. Even if it didn't crash, the gods of air would probably swat it out of the sky for coming near the Empire State Building. I was too paralyzed to move, but Annabeth whistled, and Guido the Pegasus swooped out of nowhere. "You rang for a handsome horse?" he asked. "Come on, Percy," Annabeth growled. "We have to save your friend." Chapter 16. We get help from a thief. Here's my definition of not fun. Fly a Pegasus towards an out-of-control helicopter. If Guido had been any less of a fancy flyer, we would have been chopped to confetti. I could hear Rachel screaming inside. For some reason, she hadn't fallen asleep, but I could see the pilot slumped over the controls, pitching back and forth as the helicopter wobbled towards the side of an office building. "Ideas?" I don't know. What do you think?" "You're gonna have to take Guido and get out," she said. "What are you gonna do?" In response, she said, "Ha!" and Guido went into a nosedive. "Duck!" Annabeth yelled. We passed so close to the rotors that I felt the force of the blades ripping at my hair. We zipped along the side of the helicopter, and Annabeth grabbed the door. That's when things went wrong. Guido's wing slammed against the helicopter. He plummeted straight down with me on his back, leaving Annabeth dangling from the side of the aircraft.